Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Hope you're having a good Sunday and happy Father's Day to those fathers that are out there if you're watching. Today we're going to be making beetroot cookies. So I am super excited to get started making those. It is such a nice day here in Perth today. If you are new here, leave me a comment in the chat box where you're watching from, because that's always interesting to know where everyone is tuning in from. We might have a few latecomers because the rugby is just finishing up. All right. So I have pre-prepared my beetroots so that I didn't have to use the blender on camera, because that is not a nice noise to listen to. And mine's very dodgy, so sometimes it doesn't work and goes everywhere. So I did manage to get that to work without covering my kitchen in beetroot puree, which was a bonus. So I've already got that prepared. Hi, Libby. Hi, Joe. The AB's won. Yes. All Blacks in Perth are the winners. All right. So I have got my ingredients here, and we're going to make the beetroot chocolate chip cookies. So these, you can make these vegan if you wanted to. You just need to get your vegan chocolate chippies, or use fruit and nuts if you wanted to do that. But you can't have chocolate chippy cookies without chocolate chippies. So I have got some chocolate drops, and I have got these white chocolate buttons. White chocolate is one of my favorites, so I'm going to use those today. So we might as well just get started. I'm going to make up this mixture, and then we're going to pop it in the fridge for a little bit to cool down, and then we can make the cookies. So to get started with, you just need to get one medium beetroot. So this makes about a cup of beetroot puree, and that is just beetroot that I have had simmering in a pot until they softened. And then once they're soft, I have put them through my NutriBullet, but any way that you want to blend them and make beetroot puree. So in here is about it's about a cup and a half, but you probably only need 1 cup, which is about 1 medium beetroot. So I've already got that done and cooled. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix that. I have got my recipe here. I need to make sure that I check that. As much as I love to wing things, baking, you do have to be a little bit more precise. And this recipe I made earlier in the year for my membership. So it's a little bit of a sneak peek. This is one of the recipes that is in there. And what we're going to do, okay. Let's add. So step 1, we did the beetroot. Step 2 is in the mixing bowl, add sugar and salt. Okay. We're going to do half a cup of brown sugar. Try and get that in there. Put this over here so you can see. So we've got half a cup of brown sugar. I'm going to do half a cup of raw sugar. There we are. So we've got our sugar, salt, which is half a teaspoon of salt. Where's my half a teaspoon? Oh my God, I can't believe this weather today. It feels like summer. It's a long time coming. Okay, so we've got half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of raw sugar, half a teaspoon of salt. Now we are going to put in half a cup of coconut oil, half a cups, all the halves. So I've just had my coconut oil sitting in a pot of hot water because so that it goes to liquid because it was hard. So this recipe isn't exactly healthy with the sugar and oil, but you know, I feel like it's slightly better than other cookie recipes, and it definitely tastes delicious, and that is the main thing. Okay, so I'm just going to mix that through sugar, oil, and salt. If you wanted, you could use coconut sugar. That's got quite a caramelized flavor. All right. The phone keeps locking. That's great. All right, so now we're just going to add 1 tablespoon of beetroot water. So if you have any beetroot water left over in the saucepan, you can use that, or I've just put some water into my thing and I'm just going to use that. So 1 tablespoon of the pink water. Yeah. Now we add the beetroot. So we add in our puree. Try not to flick that everywhere because it definitely is good at staining things. So now we have like all the wet mix in here. We're going to add the dry ingredients. Give that a good mix. Okay, so now all we need to do is add the dry ingredients, which is just flour and baking powder, wherever that is. So 2 cups of flour and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I'll just double check that before I do it. 2 cups of plain flour and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Whatever my cup is. I love the smell of coconut oil. Some people don't like coconut. If you don't like coconut, you could probably replace that with whatever type of oil you do like, but don't quote me on that. I haven't tried that. Okay. 1. And you could sieve the flour, but it's not really my thing. I like to just chuck things in. Still works great. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now we are going to mix those together. Oh, I needed the 1 cup of flour. I have preheated my oven. Yes, my oven is preheated, and we have got that at, I'm pretty sure it's 180 degrees Celsius. Yeah, 180 degrees. We're good to go there. It does smell a little bit beetrooty, but once we get the chocolate chippies in there, it didn't really taste like beetroot at all. So, and it's a lovely colour. Okay. Don't overmix it. I'm just going to check if I think I put the chocolate chips in after. Yeah. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just going to put this in the fridge to chill and for 10 minutes. And then we can put in some chocolate chips and we can put it in the oven. It's pretty quick. It does take about 20 minutes, or it depends on how small you cut your beetroot. So it may take 20 minutes before this to get your beetroot puree. So we'll just let that chill for a little bit. Clean the beetroot off my hands, and we can prepare our chocolate chippies to go in there. And like I said before, you can get your vegan chocolate chips if you want to keep them vegan, or you could add in any nuts and fruit if you wanted to do that. Try and clean up this a bit. I was going to make myself a little bit of a drink as well. My glass I've got here, and I've got this beautiful nasturtium that I picked. I've got a few of these deep red ones, which I'm loving at the moment. I'm just going to put some water in there. And some ice that we made on live recently. Oh, got crumpets running. So I've got in here some ice cubes with some chopped up lemon, some mint, some edible flowers, some kumquats. You can see in there. So those are really easy, just to chuck in a drink. And you're good to go. Put a few flowers on top just because why not? It's gone really dark in here. I didn't set my light up today because it's so sunny, but it must be behind one of those trees. All right. So we've got our chocolate chippies, our baking paper, tea towel. Where are you? That ready? All right. Yes, so I got these. These are from Salt and Pepper, and I have a whole set of different ones. These are huge. I thought these were wine glasses, so they're not, unless you want to put half a bottle of wine in here. But they make the perfect. I just have them with my lemon water or a cocktail. I think a summer cocktail would be great in here. Not so much the wine, but I do have a whole lot of vintage crystal as well that I collect, which is pretty good for the wine. And these little ones, tiny ones here. Yeah, those ones are from Salt and Pepper. Thanks. I'm quite obsessed with overalls. I have a few pairs now, but I'm always adding. I always want to add more. So I've also wanted to try and find some secondhand denim ones, and I'm going to do some painting on them. That is something else that I'm going to do soon, because I love painting on clothing, and I feel like I could make some custom overalls for my channel. All right. So you want to leave that in the fridge for about 10 minutes to cool down, just so that that coconut oil can go a bit hard, because we did warm it up and make it liquid, and we want to just get that a little bit cooled down so that they don't go everywhere. Fingers crossed they won't do that. It's always tricky doing these recipes live because you never know what's going to happen. But I do love cooking with beetroot because it makes things so bright and colourful. I have made some pizza bases with it. So the recipe for the bright pink pizza bases is up on my website at the moment. So you can check that out if you want to make some pizza bases, some pink pizza bases. What else have I made with beetroot? You can also use the beetroot leaves for just as you would spinach. And I made some beetroot leaf dolmades, which are like, have got rice in them, like little parcels of rice, and those were really delicious as well. So that recipe is also on my website. So if you are going to make some beetroot cookies and you have some leaves left over, you'll be able to make those. Or you can just blanch them and put them in the freezer as well, so that you can use them throughout the year, because we don't want to waste our beetroot leaves. They are delicious as well to use in cooking. And the beetroot stalks as well. Those you can chop up and put in stir fries, or I have made a beetroot like quick pickle and chucked the beetroot stalks in there, and they make that go bright pink as well. And that then you can put that over salads. You can use that in anything that you would. It's just like a little bit of a pickle, and that is delicious as well. So I need to get on to doing some more pickling soon, because I'm going to do big batch of that soon. I'm just got to get myself sorted, and then we will do that. I also want to get into some canning as well, doing some like long-term preserving, which I haven't done a lot of. So I'm also going to get stuck into that, make some relishes and jams and stuff like that, because I love relish, and I eat so much relish, so I need to make my own, because then it is more replenishable rather than at the moment I'm eating, I don't want to say how much relish I use, but I feel like it's like at least a jar a week. I love relish. All right, cookies. Let's do it. Oh, that is the freezer. Oh, okay. So, here's my wooden spoon. That probably wasn't 10 minutes, but this is what I do. I rush things. I've just got a bit of flour left over, so it's gone around the sides, but we can probably spoon that in. Let's get a spoon. I might put some in a bowl. I'll put some in a bowl so we can start making them, and then the rest I'll put back in the fridge to keep cooling. Maybe I should put it in the freezer. I need to organize my freezer. Is what I need to do. Okay. So we just get a spoonful of the cookie mixture. Make a little ball. Plonk it on there. Oh, we haven't put the chocolate chippies in there. You guys need to remind me. I get distracted. How can we have chocolate chippy cookies without chocolate chippies? Okay, I'm just reading. How much chocolate chippies? I mean, is that really a thing? Half a cup of each. Half a cup. Just move this over so you can see. Ish. And I'm not going to break up the big ones because I want big chunks of white chocolate in there. Try not to mix it too much. Okay, that'll be enough. Let's try that again. 1. Live cooking is something else. There's so much pressure. Imagine if I did that. Oh, these are quite big cookies. Okay, so I'm just going to put them into little balls and then we'll squash them down with a fork. And then these will only take 10 minutes to cook. But depending on how you like your cookies, I like my cookies really soft, but if you want them crunchier, obviously you could cook them for a little bit longer until they start going brown and crunchy on the outside. Don't know if you can hear that. It's the neighbour's dog. It does it at the exact same time every day. He must get, or they must get home. All right. It's definitely, you don't want to be wearing white making this. So now all you got to do is get a spoon, a fork, which I thought I had. And I'm just going to get a bit of this warm water that I had the coconut oil sitting in. And then just squash them down. These are quite big. I've made quite big cookies. You could probably make these half the size and have a lot more. Bit rough around the edges, but you know. All right, so these are our cookies before they have been cooked. Got some big chunks of chocolate in there. Let's chuck them in. 10 minutes, or I've still got some leftover stuff here, so I might continue to put that on another tray. Yeah, we'll just check them after 10 minutes to see how they are. 10 to 15 minutes. And then, so if you've got any questions, obviously this is a little bit all over the place because it's live. But if you've got any questions on what I'm doing, leave me a comment and I will get back to you in a second. Let's let's just continue to make this. I need another tray. Just have this little baby one because we've only got a few cookies left to make. Into a bowl. Starting to get sticky. Probably need to go back into the fridge to cool down a bit because it's really getting sticky. Yeah. All right, pop those in. What is the time? That's the other. Is it alive without the dog barking? No. Am I currently still harvesting lots of beetroot? No, I have used up pretty much all my beetroot. And I didn't replant anymore. So it's pretty much it from now. I might plant a few more. I want to do some, I love the gold beetroot. That is one of my favorites at the moment. Roasted golden beets are delicious. And I also love growing, I never know how to say this, like the ones with the stripes. They're like white and pink stripes. They're called like sugarita. I don't know how to say that. If you know how to say that. Hi, Rico. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with these comments. Is it a good time to plant beetroot seedlings? I'd still plant some. If they do get too warm, they will go to seed and not grow a big enough root. So you could just plant them somewhere if that gets a little bit more shade. I find I can grow them most of the year though. Yeah. So I would definitely chuck some more in. So, okay, I've got to remember this time. I should put a timer on. I'm terrible at this, you guys. When I do these recipes, I have to be so strict. I have like a notepad, a timer, and no other distractions because I get distracted really easily. And so with these, let's put a timer on. 10 minutes. Oh, hey, guy. Did you want to come say hi? No? Just come for a stroll. So let me know what you guys are planting at the moment. I have just planted a whole lot of tomatoes and cucumbers and flowers and melons. I planted everything, but those are the main things: tomatoes, cucumbers, and melons, because I want to get my melons going and off to a good start. And again, same with my tomatoes, I'm going to do a bit of succession planting. So I've planted a few varieties and I'll continue to keep planting those for the weeks of spring so that I have some succession planting. You can probably see over there, I've got some seeds. We've got some painted mountain corn, which is a really fun one to grow, and some tomatoes. These are the purple Cherokee tomato. And I have heaps more seeds outside that we planted last week on the live. Those are just outside at the moment and they're starting to pop up. The cornflowers were the first to pop up and now the sunflowers are starting to pop up. I've planted heaps of sunflowers and heaps of cornflowers because those are probably two of my favorite edible flowers. I'm planting the sunflowers all in between my fruit trees and the cornflowers because the sunflowers grow really tall. And then the cornflowers are like a low, bushy shrub and the bees love them. So I'm getting them on the bottom layer. So I've got I'm using up all the space really. So bottom layer, I've got the cornflowers. I've also planted some strawberries on the bottom layer between my fruit trees. I'm just looking out there now. And then the sunflowers will be in between my fruit trees, but at a higher level so that I can use up all the space that I have. And in my pallet planters, I'll put in more of the annual stuff like the tomatoes, the cucumbers, and have them in their own separate space. Planted some sweet potatoes, snapdragons, strawberries, rainbow chard, and now I want to add beetroot. Oh my gosh, my lawn has got a lot of weeds. I'm not a lawn person. Halen loves the lawn, and I have nasturtiums popping up in my lawn. I have celery popping up in my lawn. I've got celery popping up in the cracks of all my pavers because I let a big celery plant go to seed, and I collected all those seeds, but now I have celery everywhere, and I don't think I even need the celery seeds because I'm probably just going to have celery forever popping up everywhere. But that's okay because I love celery. Same with parsley and cornflowers. I let them go to seed. I love letting things go to seed in my garden because those seeds will just sit in the soil dormant until the soil heats back up again or gets to the right temperature that they like, and then they just start growing. You don't have to do anything. They're just there. Like my back fence in between my fruit trees, I have all sorts of things popping up in there because when my fruit trees were really small, they didn't take up much space, and so I used that garden to plant a lot of annuals and a lot of flowers and things like that. And now that the fruit trees are bigger and they're taking up more space, I don't like to do too much in there because I don't want to plant around the base of them. But everything just pops up and grows. I've got probably even sunflowers will pop up and grow there because last year a cockatoo got to one of my sunflowers and just like seeds everywhere. So I'm sure I'm probably going to get some sunflowers popping up. But I like wild gardens. I like things to just grow and do their thing. Uncle Simon, echinacea popping up. Oh, that's good. I bet you're busy at this time of year. Flower prepping. I had echinacea in my garden, but I don't know where that went. I haven't seen it again. It might pop back up again. You never know. I get lots of lettuces popping up in there too, randomly. Okay, let's just... Oh, they're really big ones. I knew they were going to be big. I definitely was generous with the portions. But I like my cookies to be like soft and squishy inside, so that will be good for me. And we're at... Well, I've set the timer at 5 minutes, but it was probably like a couple minutes before that. So it won't be far off to be ready. And I can start to smell them. And they smell so good. What is Good Moon? I've also planted some carnations. I love them. And the mini chrysanthemums. These ones, I planted these I love them because they look like daisies. I planted these last year and they're everywhere. I haven't had to plant them again. They're popping up everywhere. And then I can just, when they're like seedlings, I can just move them around and they grow like a really bushy, green, lush shrub. And then they've got heaps of little daisy-like flowers, which I love. So I'm going to press some of those as well and see how they go. Obviously, nasturtiums are on fire at the moment. So I think I'm going to have to do some more nasturtium recipes with the flowers, because I've got a lot of recipes using the leaves, and the flowers I use all the time as well. So I'm going to do a few more nasturtium flower recipes. And we're going to be talking on compost soon as well, because I just got a new compost tumbler. My other one is full at the moment, and so it was perfect timing, because I'm going to let that one continue to break down, and I'm not going to chuck anything else in it, so that it can all break down. I can chuck that into my raised pallet planters ready for spring planting. So while I'm letting that one do its thing, I'm going to start using the new one, which I found down the road for free when I was walking the dog. If you watch my Instagram stories, you would have seen that. We were just walking the dog, and there was a whole bunch of random things out front of someone's house for free, with a sign saying free. So we just walked it on the compost on home. There was like bird cages and things too. I don't know what else was there, but that was a good score. The time to plant seeds. It is. Spring is such a busy month for gardeners. You want to be planting seeds. You want to be weeding your garden. You want to be getting everything ready for summer, checking any of your sprinklers, doing some pruning. I've just pruned a few of my citrus trees because they're going to start taking off. At the moment, they're just about to start producing heaps of new growth. So there was some really long, random side shoots of the citrus, so I've chopped those back so that now it can just like fill out and be more even and consistent, rather than being like to one side or top heavy. So I've done that. But yeah, spring is such a busy month for gardeners, especially here. We have to be really prepared for summer, because summer is brutal in Perth. So definitely, I've got a few articles on how to get your gardens water-wise ready for summer, because that's really important. Otherwise, if you haven't prepared your gardens with enough mulch and layers and cover that soil, that is so important here, is to cover that soil so that it doesn't dry out, because summer is so hot. What are we at with the time? Oh, these cookies are going to be so good. 9 minutes. I can smell them. So the longer you cook them, the more they'll go a bit brown. If you like your cookies not as crunchy, then they will be pretty much bright, like the color that we just put them in. They come out pretty similar. When you bite into them, they will have a little bit of brown on the inside, but they're pretty pink, which I love, that they keep their color. Because sometimes I get like on these kitchen experiments, I do a lot. There is so much that you don't see that I fail at, because I constantly try new things, try new recipes. And sometimes you get so excited because they look amazing, and then as soon as they're cooked, the color's gone, or it just doesn't work. So this has been one that I was super excited to make, because they come out such a cool color. I think this would be fun for any sort of party or anything like that. I planted corn yesterday. Sweet. Yeah, good time to plant corn. I'm staggering my corn planting because I don't have big gardens. I can't have them all ready at the same time, or they will cross-pollinate. So I'm doing sort of separate varieties, and I'm planting weird things. So I've got blue corn, green corn, and painted corn. I do like growing the weird things, or colorful things. I like growing colorful things. I like cooking colorful recipes. Those are my favorite. All right, I'm going to pull these out in a second. It's nearly 10 minutes. I think that is 10 minutes. Let me just double check. Yep, we're good. Although these ones are huge, so they probably would need a little bit longer, but we'll check. We will. Oh my God, it's so big. Yeah, they need a little bit longer. because I made them extra large. Oh, she didn't like the chickweeds. I love chickweeds. It's like sprouts. My partner won't eat edible flowers because he thinks I'm trying to poison him. So I mean, obviously I'm not poisoning myself, but he won't. He pulls them all off. If I could only grow one thing, what would it be? That is a really hard question. I don't know if I could do that. A vegetable or a fruit? One thing. I'm probably going to say sweet potato, or kumara, because you can eat the leaves. So you've got a year's supply of greens. The sweet potato you can use in so many different ways. I've made sweet potato slice, so you can use it in sweet. You can use it in savory. You can make pizza bases out of it. You can make everything out of sweet potato, and it has so many beneficial relationships within the garden as well. So it's a good ground cover. It is great for your beneficial insects. Sweet potato is definitely one of my favorite plants in the garden, and so easy to just reproduce and make millions more plants. And they store as well, so you can just chuck them in a dark, cool place and you can have them stored for longer. Yeah, definitely. Fruit is though. Fruit, I do love fruit. That would be such a hard thing not to grow. I'm definitely, I would love to have like a full food forest with all fruit trees and then just underplanted with like berries. And that's my main thing that I want, is a food forest with like small raised vegetable garden beds as well for annuals, but mainly just chuck them all in together and just have like a wild food forest. That would be my dream. I've sort of got that on the back fence. That's what I've been working with, trying to get them everything to like work together and low maintenance. Then I can spend more time eating the things rather than like weeding, because I'm not into that. Rather eat it. So then you can let them cool down, which also probably not going to do. As they cool down, they'll crisp up as well. And they'll cool down much faster on here. But let's have another look. It's underneath. It's like a coral color underneath. And if you cook them longer, they'll continue to go a little bit more brown around the edges here. You can see my white chocolate starting to go caramelized on the end there. They don't smell like beetroot anymore. Maybe slightly. But they kind of just smell like cookies. So I'll let those cool down a bit. I forget I have got those other ones in there. Someone remind me. I'll move them up to the top. Oh my God, these ones are like cookie cakes. I don't know if you can see that, but they're huge. And then like, so how many is that? 4, 3, 6, 9. So we've got 13 cookies. And I made huge ones, so that would make, double. You could make probably 24 cookies if you didn't make the huge, chunky. I do love a chunky cookie. Let's take this one. I want it to cool down really fast. Make it open. So yeah, that is my beetroot chocolate chippy cookies, and we managed to get the chocolate chippies in there, which was, 1 medium beetroot, which you steam or cook until it's soft, and then make beetroot puree out of that, which is about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of beetroot puree. And then we've got half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of raw sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, half a cup of coconut oil, and mix that all together, all the wet ingredients, the salt and the sugar, the oil, mix it all together, and then add in the dry ingredients, which is just 2 cups of plain flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Mix that, add in half a cup of white chocolate chips, half a cup of other chocolate, brown, dark, whatever flavored you want, chocolate chips, or just 1 whole cup of the same chocolate chip. Mix that together, pop it in the fridge for 10 minutes to cool down, then make little balls, squash them, put them in the oven, 180 degrees for 10 minutes to 15 minutes, depending how big the cookies are. And then you have the beetroot chocolate chippy cookies. I feel like the light's not that great in here at the moment. I don't have my light set up, so they are much brighter. I feel like they're much brighter than they appear. They're hot pink. Feel pretty hot. So good. So these ones will be, once they've cooled down, this one's going to be sort of hard on the outside and soft in the middle, which is the way I like them. They don't taste like beetroot, by the way. They just taste like chocolate chippy cookies, which is delicious. Yes, let me know if you make these. I'd love to see your versions of them. And yeah, you could put fruit in them. You could put anything. Oh my God, that one's going to be my favorite. It's got some big chocolate, white chocolates in the middle. Oh, I'm getting melted chocolate all over my hands now. All right, so that's pretty much it. Super easy. They're super quick. I mean, once you've got the beetroot puree done, mix them, chuck them together, chuck them in the oven for 10 minutes, and you got very cool cookies. So I'll try and do another poll for what we make next week. These ones were voted the most popular on my poll. I had beetroot chocolate chip cookies, the zucchini fritters, which got 0 votes, and the herb and flour crackers were second runner-up. So I'll do another poll for what we make next Sunday. Or plant. Don't have to always cook. It's nice to mix them up, to not always be cooking. And I just post those polls on my YouTube channel. So if you aren't subscribed, you definitely should be. So you can get a notification when those go up, and you can vote and then come and be part of it. So no, my polls, I'm keeping my polls on YouTube, not Insta. I don't always do them. It's just sort of, if I can't decide, if I've got something that I really want to do, I'm just going to do that. But if I couldn't decide with these ones, so you guys decided, and it was a good decision. Starting to go a bit hard on the top. Oh my God, I got to remember not to burn those other ones. Mangosteen cookies. Do you know what? I was going to try some sweet potato cookies, actually. But if you want to see my sweet potato harvest, I rushed out there like not long before I was supposed to be getting ready for this. And I was like, if I find some decent purple sweet potatoes, then I might do 2 batches of cookies, one with the sweet potato, one with the beetroot. But this is what I found. Like, they're tiny. They probably wouldn't be good for much. So that's something else I'm going to experiment with. And make purple, because these are purple sweet potato. Find a knife. It's not that bright because this one's really small. So when they get a lot bigger, then there's a lot less white in there. And they're bright purple sweet potatoes. So those will be fun. They're always fun to cook with, but obviously I failed. I just went to one little patch that was like overgrown with nasturtiums and thought I could find some, but I couldn't. So that's all we got there. Okay. Now I get to clean up my mess. But thank you guys for joining me. I hope you're inspired to get cooking with beetroot. Make some beetroot chocolate chippy cookies, because look at these bad boys. They're delicious. And the more chocolate chips you put in there, the better, in my opinion. Can use any kind of oil. I don't know. I've only used coconut oil because that's just what I use the most in my cooking. But I feel like you could probably substitute that with like a vegetable oil. Should be fine. Don't quote me on that though. But give it a go. Let me know. See if it works. My gosh, there's so much going on in here. Lentil documentary on YouTube. I'm missing out on all these comments. Oh, you've got the purple sweet potato as well, kumara. I have got a few different varieties. I've also got the Hawaiian, which is white on the outside and purple on the inside. That's another fun one to grow. I've harvested a few. I've harvested most of my sweet potatoes, so I kind of need to wait now till autumn to harvest the rest, because obviously that's a pretty poor show. But normally sweet potatoes, you'd plant them in spring, harvest them in autumn before the frosts set in. Not that I really get frosts here. I don't think we had any frosts this winter. All right, team, thanks for joining me. I'm going to go clean up. I love this because it looks like I'm so tidy and I've just got this like beautiful cookies, but really like in front of me is just chaos that I get to go clean up now. So that's fun. Thanks for joining me. I will hopefully see you guys next Sunday. Come and join me. Let's make something different. I'll see what I've got in my garden. I have cabbages in my garden, actually. Heaps of cabbages, so purple cabbage. So I need to make something with purple cabbage, I think. Will be due to be picked. All right. Have a fantastic week ahead, you guys. See you next Sunday.